On Shapeways, there are a lot of different types of dice that are really well made. I just wanted to point a couple out. For example, this one, if you can look at it, it's actually hollow, and this one's hollow and this one's hollow. A good reason to make them hollow is it will reduce the cost of manufacturing and increase the profit for you. On TinkerCAD, I have a couple examples of dice. The one on the left is not so good. It's just a basic cube. The one on the right, I tried to make it a little bit more complex by making it hollow. So let me show you how I made this one over here on the right. Instead of using a regular box, if you go to TinkerCAD's community shape generators, there's a variety of shapes that you can pick from if you want a different kind of dice. I use this truncated cube. I'll bring that over there. Also, I'm going to edit my grid, and I always use inches just because I'm more familiar with that. Make sure you hit update grid. And again, I always have my ruler placed down so that I can easily edit this. So I'm going to change the size of this truncated cube, change everything to, well, let's change it to 1.5 for everything. 1.5. I'll change this height to 1.5. And then I'll change this width to 1.5 as well. There we go. Press F to zoom out. And that, as you can see, it's a very similar shape to this. Now let me show you how I put holes in it to make it hollow. Grab my cylinder. Pull that up. And I'm going to just move these out of the way so I don't accidentally group them. I'll do Control D to duplicate. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. Like so. I'm going to do Control D again to duplicate that. And this time I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees this way. Like so. Here's a cool trick. I'm going to select all of these. Use my Align tool at the top left to line everything up. So everything will be centered like that. Now if I do Control G to group, or I can press this button up here, it groups it all together and makes it hollow. Next, I want to show you how I did the stars on the corner. Again, the reason why I like having that ruler tool down is I can easily resize these. Let's just change everything to 4 inches. Now I'm going to use my work plane. Drag my work plane right there. I'm going to try to find a symbol. I like using the star. And now when I drag my star right there, it's already at the correct angle. I don't have to worry about rotating it. Press F to zoom in. Press F to zoom in again. And now I can use my arrow keys to kind of move it around so it's centered. Like so. I'm going to turn that into a hole. Then press Control down. And I can do Control G to group it. And that's how I got the stars in the corner. To get rid of this orange work plane, you can just drag the work plane over here into the blank area and it'll disappear. Now I want to show you how I got the numbers in here. I have all these custom numbers. Again, I mentioned before the fonts on TinkerCAD are terrible. I like using dafont.com. There's a whole bunch of different fonts that I think that are really cool. So let's say I like this old London font. I already have it previewed right here. I can just go ahead and take screenshots of each of the numbers. On my Chromebook, I do Control-Shift, change screen, which is the button right above the 6. And I can just take screenshots of all of these very quickly. As usual, I'm going to take all of them and convert them into SVGs using picsvg.com. That way I can open them in TinkerCAD. You can see I already did that over here. Again, just to show you the process, click Upload Picture, find the screenshot that you took. You're going to pick every single one, and then Pick SVG will change that pixelated screenshot into a SVG or scalable vector graphic so that you can download it into TinkerCAD. So if I start with the one, I can click Open. I just want to show you the filters real quick. For a solid shape, I'll use Ready number 1, then I click Download SVG. I've actually already converted all of them. So in TinkerCAD, let me show you how to import it. Click Import at the top right, choose a file, and you're going to pick the SVG. SVGs are what can be imported into TinkerCAD. We'll give this a second to load up. And you're going to import each of them one at a time. So let's say I want this one right here that I converted earlier today. Click Open, and then click Import. Then I just wait. Sometimes if it's a complex file, it'll take a little bit longer. In the bottom left, you'll see this green importing button. I'll zoom out, and there's one of my numbers. So instead of resizing every single one of the numbers, again, I think it's just easier to resize your dice. So I'm going to just go ahead and make this 5 inches that way, 5 inches that way, and 5 inches that way. At this point, I can just take my number and rotate it. Let's try to get it exactly 90 degrees. There we go. And then I can move it into that hole. That's right there. I can also use my align tools. So I'll align it this way. I'll align it against that face like so. Press F to zoom in. Yeah, that's pretty good. And at this point, I can change the size of it a little bit and get it to fit. Again, the idea is you want to make sure it's connecting to both the top and the bottom so that it doesn't accidentally break off. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, like that. Then I'm going to carefully rotate this to the other side so I can see it from the inside. And I'm going to grab that dot and make this a little bit wider, just so it's a little less likely to break. Select all of it and do Control G to group, or press a group button up here. I can change the color so you can see it a little bit better. There you go. There's the beginning of a really nice dice. I'm going to continue doing the other numbers on the other parts. I can put stars in all the corners, and I think that will turn out really well. Once I'm done, I can just resize all of these back to 1 inch or 1/2 inch, depending on how big you want your dice to be, and it will be the right size. That's it.